Have you ever had a dream to become a motivational speaker? Or perhaps CEO of your own company? Or how about to be crowned Ms.Hati? Well, I'm talking about the fascinating Sandra Love. Sandra's going to share her journey of becoming a motivational speaker, business owner, pageant winner, and so much more. I'm Mari Raiin. Be prepared to be inspired. And welcome to Heaven on Earth. Welcome, Sandra Love. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here on Heaven on Earth podcast. For we believe in uplifting humanity by sharing the stories of magnificent people who walk in faith. And you are a true reflection of helping others bring their dreams to life.
Aw, thank you.
Yes. Now, did you always know you were going to live a life to help inspire others?
You know what? I always was that type of child, but I never knew it would have been like this. I never
Mm.
knew it would have been that would be my path to that. You get what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
knew I wanted to be that, but I didn't know it would take me in a different route, like a salty
Mm.
route.
Wow. Oh, wow. Well, well, you know what? I feel like, we always have these journeys in life, and it's all to just kind of bring us to the best version of ourselves and get to know God even better.
Oh yeah.
Now, let's start from the beginning so our listeners can get to know you a little bit better. And where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Miami, Florida.
Nice. And I understand that your family migrated here years ago.
Cor- Yes, correct. Actually, my father is from Port-au-Prince,
Mhm.
Haiti, and then my mom is Jacmel, Haiti.
Oh, wow. Now, do you speak any other language other than English?
You know what? My first language was Spanish, and then now I speak English and Creole.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right. Now, one of the things I'd like to do is kind of connect um, a person's understanding of what they were like as a child, and as we're able to see why they do what they do today. So, for instance, do you see things you did as a child that you can now say, wow, that's why I own my own business now? Or, you know what, talking in the mirror all those years ago, all the time to myself, I see why I'm a motivational speaker. Can you remember as a child, the things that you did that makes sense to you now because you're living it?
Well, one thing that always sticked out to me that I go back and I'm like, wow. It's a story when my mom told me when I was born, the doctor wanted to abort me. You know,
Mm,
I was a twin, she said, and then basically she was having complications, and then they told her if the only way she'll survive if she aborts me, and if she doesn't, then we're both going to die. We're not going to make it. And so she had her prayer warriors. My dad is a minister,
hmm.
is a pastor, so they were praying. Everyone in the church, they came out to the hospital, and here I am. You one thing my dad used to call me the miracle baby. And
Mm,
I think I was here for a reason. When I hear that story, everything else later on in my life made sense.
mm.
It made sense, and it made sense why the enemy wanted to knock me out. It made
Right.
sense why the enemy wanted me not to even make it and step a foot on this earth. And
Wow.
so and as I grew older, like my childhood, I didn't have the best childhood. It was always
Mhm.
a battle with me. But one thing I knew, I did good in school.
Mm. Wow. I mean, yes, you are a miracle born to life. I mean, that is fascinating. And I guess that's why from a very young age, you've been through so many trials and
Oh
tribulations, and that's
yeah.
why you're so triumphant and strong now.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Oh yeah.
when did you make the realization that, you know, I guess people go through times in their life. Was there a moment where you said, okay, I'm not going to be a doctor, I'm not going to be a lawyer, or I'm not going to be a manicurist, fashion and motivational speaking, that is my passion. That's where I'm going. Was there like a aha moment that made you say, yes, this is who I am?
There were several. Like for me,
Mm,
as when it came to fashion, I was always the artist. Like I was so good at drawing, and I used to always do designs. I was into poetry. I was more into the artistic side. I always, like loved music, so I gravitated to that. And that was something I really wanted to do. And then as I got older and certain things that I went through through with my life, when it came to my nonprofit, how I became a motivational speaker was the fact that I went through a horrible divorce.
mm,
And my nonprofit organization, Walking in Love, came from after my divorce. And
mm,
what happened was God had to literally get me out of that. Like it's I don't know how to describe it. It
mm-hmm,
Everything that happened within that time frame was all God. And so even me crying, like I was like skinny, unrecognizable, and crying one time in the car, and I'm like, God, why me? Why me? Why me? I have to go through what I went through when I was a child. Why I
mm-hmm,
had to go through this bad divorce, physically abusive, verbally. It was bad. Like why me? I broke down, and then that's when I literally heard God like really strong in me. And it was like, why not you? I need you to go through these things because you're about to take someone out of it. And
mm,
that used to be one of my things. Like, how can I tell this person that is going to be okay, that's going through an abusive relationship,
mm.
when I never gone through it? You understand?
Yes,
It
yes.
it just won't work. And so from what I wanted to become and what God wanted me to become, he
Mm,
had to take me through these things, because how can I talk about it if I've never gone through it? It wouldn't make no sense. My
yes.
credibility wouldn't be I would have no credibility. Like me, I know for myself, if somebody's trying to give me advice,
Mm-hmm,
I'm going to ask you, so have you ever gone through this? And if you tell me no, then it just goes out the window. Then you don't know what I'm going through. And so
mm,
from that moment, when I was in that car, it's like, okay, you're going to speak. This is what you're going to say. And you're going to tell people everything you went through. And then watch how you get other women or men out of it. And when I
mm.
started that process, when I tell you, my God, so many women came up to me and tell me, you don't know what I'm going through. You touched me, this, that. And I'm like, and that's when I'm like, wow, okay, it all makes
Mm.
sense now. It all makes sense. If I have to be that sacrifice, what is it called, the sacrificial lamb,
Yep, that's it.
then I guess there's a reason why. And then that's when I'm like, okay, that's why the devil wanted me out.
Mm. Oh my gosh, Sandra, thank you so much for sharing that part of your story because you
Oh,
are testifying right now. Because I
oh,
know so many people are going through challenging times
oh
and
yeah,
dealing with, domestic issues.
oh
And
yeah,
to know someone of your caliber, someone that has had the opportunity to rise above it and say that they walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and now you are here showing them that there is light on the other side.
oh
God
yeah.
bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
No, no, there is definitely light on the other side. Definitely light.
Mm,
Sometimes, the enemy like to lie to us, and we feed into those lies that we're not going to make it. It's not going to be better. Or we can't move on. Those are all lies that we feed ourselves, you know,
yes.
because at the end of the day, you are going to make it. And I used to always tell people when they come and ask me for advice, and then they feel like they
Mm-hmm.
can't make it, they're not going to do it, or it's the end of the world. I look at them, I said, I know it's a cliche. I know it's a cliche, but you are going to be okay. You know that, right? You know,
Mm,
because some
mm,
people hate
mm.
to hear that. Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah, but no, but the truth is you are. You are.
Mm,
You're going to survive. You're still breathing. So there is more purpose in you. So you know what? At this point, Let's not think of the negative, and let's figure out how we're going to get out of this. The solution.
Mm,
How are we going to get out of this, and what are we going to do about it? Because it's
mm,
not the end of the world. I used to think after divorce, because I was with my ex-husband for 12 years. He was all that I knew. Um,
yes.
since I was the age of 15. I have 2 kids from him. We were married 12 years. I didn't know nobody else. And then I
Mm,
had to make that step. Like, I had to decide with myself that I had to get up and go. I
yes.
had to get up and go. And so I had Apostle then. She was amazing. And you know what she told me, Sandra? The
Mm,
reason why you keep going back and you're still here in that situation is because you're addicted to pain.
mm,
And sometimes we're familiar with a situation and a pain in toxic situations that you're scared to step out because this is what you know. It's not good. You might die in it, but because we're scared in that fear, this is what we know. So we stay in it and we die in it. And so I had to get
mm.
out of myself. I'm like, no, I got to get out of this. I'm
Now, Sandra, let me ask you, when she originally told you, because that's very, that's another level of just of consciousness to where you are able to admit that you're addicted to pain. Were you at first kind of hesitant to believe that as a reality, or did it all of a sudden just, it clicked immediately and did it land and say,
actually, it didn't click immediately.
okay,
I fought. I was trying to understand that. How am I addicted to pain? I hate this. I don't want to be in this. I'm hurting. I'm crying. But then she kept saying, then why you keep going back? Then
mm,
why are you still here? You got to understand. And in my head, and I started thinking, and I'm like, you know what? My biggest excuse was because he's all I know. That's what I'm
mm,
used to. I know if I say this, he's gonna say that. I'm already used to the
yes,
patterns. So I'm
yes,
familiar with it. And so yeah, I'm addicted to it because this is what I know, and I rather deal with this than deal with the pain of walking away and not knowing what I'm going to end up becoming, like the future. I didn't know. I was not sure. I didn't know myself. So the fact that I didn't
mm,
know myself, it was scary. And that's what a lot of people go
yes,
through. They don't know who they are because I lost myself in the relationship. I didn't know who I was.
mm.
I didn't know what I was capable of. And so it was hard for me to let it go.
Oh, wow. Now, let me ask you, in that situation, in that time in your life, did you have a support system to kind of, other, like family? Was family there to support you? And
Oh man, I did have a support system, but this is the crazy
okay.
thing when it comes to someone that's dealing with that's in an abusive relationship. See, we don't like to, especially when we're married. That's one thing that I was taught. You don't bring the problems in your marriage outside. So I used
Mm,
to hold it in. Whatever is going on in indoors, I used to like hold it in. And the moment I would say something to a family member, and my families don't play, they will go ahead and try to do something about it, and then it goes back on me. So remember, I have to be
yes.
in the home, and so now I have to deal with that chain reaction. So I used to always
Mm,
keep my mouth shut until one
mm,
day something big happened, and I ended up in the hospital. And then my sister told me, she started crying, my little sister, and said, I
mhm.
just feel like you're gonna die. Like, why don't you just leave?
Mm,
Like, I feel like you're gonna die. She started crying. And then I said, she's like, why you keep going back? And I'm like, I told everybody, I said yes. And because they did a whole meeting, you need to
mm,
leave
mhm.
and all this stuff. And for some reason, I couldn't leave. There was a hold on me. And I told them, look,
Wow.
every time I leave, I go back. And I said, because I'm not leaving for me, I'm leaving for you guys.
Mm,
I have to get to the
yes.
point where I want to leave for me. So give me time to leave for me, and I will never go back. That's what I used to tell them.
Wow.
And then it's true. When you think about it, when we leave and we make decisions for other people, not for ourselves, we always get back
Yes.
to the same situation. And so we have to make the conscious decision for ourselves that this is for me, no one else, but for me. And that's when you
Yes.
receive power. And so I
Mm,
had to just like I started to just gather myself up within. I was still in the mess, but
Mm-hmm.
I was planning. My apostle was my support system. I had friends that were, well, a best friend. Well, we became best friends through the situation, actually, because I was in a church, and that's what makes it
Mm-hmm.
hard. And I was church hurt because I was in a church and they knew what I was going through, and they still allowed it to happen.
Yes.
And so it just kind of, that part kind of took me away. But I still, with my apostle that stood next to me, we planned our exit. And within that
Yes.
time moment while I'm planning, I'm gaining my strength. And
Yes.
so, yeah, I had a support
Oh.
system, but I got the support system though when I decided I wanted help. And
Mm.
because some people have support system, but because they're not open,
Yes.
they can't receive that support system. So you have to be
Mm.
open to the fact that, okay, I'm going to tell them what's going on, and I'm going to need them to be there for me. And believe it or not, some people say, oh, I don't have a support system. You really do.
Mm.
It's out there now. This is 2021. There's so many support
Yes.
systems out there. People will create one. You have that help, but you have to make the conscious decision to want that help to get up and go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Sandra, thank you are healing. You are in service right now, and I know so many people are hearing this, and they need to be here in this moment to hear exactly what you have to
Oh,
say.
yeah.
Now, through the grace of God, you created Walking in Love Ministry. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Walking in Love was created after the whole situation with the divorce that I went through. And so
Mhm.
I realized that, the way that God loved me in that process was a totally different type of love that I've encountered.
Mm.
And so that love, like, how would I say it? We, instead of falling, we walk into it, meaning
Mm.
we walk people through things. Like, no more telling someone, like, how I remember one time someone said, well, why don't you just go?
Mm.
But how? You're not telling me how. I don't know how. I've never been here before, you know? And so
Yes.
walking in love is more like that process. Like,
Mm.
we walk people towards it. Like, everywhere we go, like, if someone here needs help financially, like, they're really like going through it financially, it's not just, I'm gonna pray for you, but if I
Mm.
have it to give, I'm going to give it to you. Like, it's no longer,
Yes.
it's the way people, we love people from afar. We can't, it's hard to,
Yes.
it's time to love people in a closer distance, because there's so much things that's
Mm.
going around right now that is horrible. And and our job, honestly, I feel like, well, I can only speak for myself. My job is to, when someone
Mm-hmm.
comes to me, I can walk them through love. Like, instead
Mm.
of, love is a, how would I say it? It's actions. It's a verb. People keep saying
Yes.
it's not a noun. It's not, no. It's a, it's action. So you can't
Yes.
tell me you love me, but then you can't help me. Like,
Mm.
it's like somebody watching you hungry, and you're starving, ready to die, and then they're telling you, "Well, I love you. You're gonna be okay." But they have a full course meal in front of them.
Yes.
It's impossible for you to tell me you love me, but you can't help me. So it's more like inspiring others, in not just by words but by actions. We're gonna walk in
Yes.
love this time. We're not gonna just fall into it. We're gonna walk. We're gonna have a process. We're gonna go into it together. You're not gonna be by yourself this
Mm.
time, because a lot of us go through things by ourselves. But this time, you don't have to. We're gonna do it together.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, is this how you transitioned into becoming a motivational speaker as a result of starting Walking in Love Ministry?
Yes, I started. I trans first. I created Walking in Love, right, and then I
Mm-hmm.
started just talking to people and motivating them in different aspects. And then I was already doing this before I went into pageantry. You know, that was something
Okay.
I just started doing. I got myself together and I got my
Mm-hmm.
purpose. I finally knew, you know, how some people, it takes time for them to find their purpose. Well, after that
Right.
divorce, that's when my purpose was exposed. I knew what I was here for. And I was like, oh no,
Mm.
I got to start going. And when I tell you, that even helped me, that helped me with my healing process even more. And so
Yes.
I started, and then I just started the movement with myself. You know, my dad has a church, so I did a little bit in that, and then I just
Mm-hmm.
started putting myself out there more. And then that's when I had the opportunity. They reached out to me. First I wanted to do Miss Universe, but
Mm-hmm.
I was too old. I kind of missed a little.
Wait, what's the age limit for Miss
You got
Universe?
to be up to 21. Yeah, I think
Oh
21.
my gosh. Okay, I
So
didn't know
all
they
these
were
women out
that
there are like
young.
18, 19, 20.
Oh,
They're really young, and I kind of missed it.
wow. I had no idea. Those are babies out
Yeah,
there.
and they don't look like it.
They don't.
And so they told me I couldn't do that. So I was like, because I started thinking, I'm like, how can I reach more people with my platform? Because you know, my platform
Hmm.
is more on self-love, because I believe that you can't really love anybody if you don't love yourself. And then the only way you can love
Yes.
yourself, guess who you got to go to? The creator of yourself, God, because he's the only one that can tell you
Hmm.
about yourself. And so you have to
Hmm.
go into him to find yourself. And then when you do love yourself, you can love everyone else around you. And so
Hmm.
I had to figure out, okay, self-love. That's how I started loving myself. When I tell you I dated myself like crazy, am I single? I was
Yes.
dating myself. I was bringing myself flowers, talking to myself in the mirror. I was like really the best date that I've ever been on with myself.
Yes.
And then, and then after that, I was like, okay, I need a bigger platform. So I turned on the TV. I was like, okay, Miss Universe, boom, I can do it. So I went and they turned me down. And I said, you know what? Let me look for what's below that. And it was the international pageant. And I said, oh,
Mm.
I'm going to do the international pageant. So I went through everything. And that was another test. Lord knows that was a
Tell us
test.
about it.
Oh,
So you were 2018, you were crowned 2018's
Miss Haiti.
ambassador, Miss
Mm-hmm.
Haiti. Okay. Tell us about this journey. It's so exciting. Like I look, your pictures are absolutely magnificently
Uh,
beautiful. And I know the journey of being in pageants and what it takes. So when I see someone that's, had an opportunity to reach that pinnacle point and say, yes, I did it. I'm just so proud of you and just so happy for
oh
you.
man, thank you. But boy, oh,
Please
that
tell.
process in the beginning, right? When the moment I said, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Mhm.
Now that's when all the lists, they sent me the emails, the list of things I needed to get, I needed to have, and I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, all right. Financially, I was not there. Because after the
Mm,
divorce, like literally I had no money because I was a housewife. So I had no money. I had to get
yes.
myself back. I was homeless I didn't have nowhere to stay. I was really staying with my sister in a little efficiency afterwards with my two kids and all my stuff. It was just crazy. So I I was like, okay, I had a job. I got the job. I was in a better place, but I was not there financially. So I couldn't get
Yes.
myself a makeup art, like a stylist to be at the show. So everything I had to do was like before I get to the show. And I split my hotel room with one of the girls. And I was like, okay, the dress, girls were talking about how they had 20, like their dress was like $3,000 and six
Oh,
thousand dollar
wow.
dresses. And man, this one girl had her own like celebrity makeup person in the dressing room with
Wow.
the nice LED light ring thing. I didn't even know it was then back then. The light and everything, and she had her people bringing her juice and stuff. They were feeding her, and I was looking at. I was
Oh my
like, yo, I
goodness.
was like, wow. I got that made me so nervous. I was like, I don't think like I didn't have all those that what they had. I just had myself and what I can come up with. My dress was just only like what? How much my dress was? My dress was 200, and that's out of
Nice.
like struggling because the dress I really wanted was like 500 and something, and I was like, oh, I can't afford that. So I kind of
Right.
like, okay, the dress I had, I was like, I wasn't too 100 about it, but my sister was like, on that stage, that dress looked like money.
No, it's going to say your dress looked beautiful. To know that it cost $200, it looked no different from those other women
When I
that you're
tell
standing
you,
on stage with.
and my makeup artist, she did my makeup in the room, and then I had to touch up my own makeup behind the scenes for every part, like every segment. So it was like
Wow.
they had their makeup artist and behind there, but I just had myself like touching up myself, and then my hairdresser had to, she did my hair, but then she had them pinned and she had to guide me and tell me, okay, when it's to that moment, this is what you have to do to put it up in this. So when I went in the
Mm.
dressing room, I didn't had nobody, so I had to remember what she told me, how I'm supposed to fix my hair. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
you know what? And then, and the crazy thing is, I had some people that were saying that I wasn't gonna make it, that I wasn't gonna win.
Hmm.
They was like, "Isn't I'm not gonna win." Like someone told my daughter,
Now, are these people
people
you
I
know or
know,
people
people I
in the
know,
pageant? Mm.
and one person was told my daughter that mommy's not gonna win, and because she came and told me, mommy,
Hmm.
so and so, I don't want to put their name out there, but so and so said that you're not gonna win. And I said, let me tell you something, I am gonna win. Okay, just put that in your head, mommy's going to win. And that was it.
Hmm.
And so I did what I did, and I was like, when I tell you, you have to talk to yourself, people think it's weird, but that
Yes.
whole time I had, because of all the negative that was going around, I was scared. In order for me to survive that night, I had to keep talking and talking life to myself. You're going to be doing fine. You're going to be
Mm.
all right. You're doing good. You're beautiful. You got this. You got this, Sandra. You got this. You're going to win. You got this. And even though I saw the gowns, one girl had the train all the way on the other side, like she getting married. And I was like, I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, she done outdid herself here. Like, is one thing the lady told me, that she said, you know what, just be yourself. And I said, that's all I know how to.
Mm.
I'm going to tell them my story, whatever they ask me, I'm just going to be me. And so when I walked on that stage, I did the interviews. I just I just I was just myself. I prayed, and I said, God, this is you get the glory out of this. Now everything is in your hand.
Yes.
And I walked on the stage, did what I had to do. And when I stood there and my name was called, I was like, oh my God. And then afterwards, when everything was the celebration was over, pictures were taken, the coordinator came to me and said, you know what? All the judges fell in love with you. If you were
Mm.
running in a different, you would have still won. Because
Yes.
all of them were
Yes.
in love with you. And I'm like, for real? They was like, yes. And so that
Oh,
made me feel like I was so worried about how I looked. I was so worried about like my presence, because I didn't have what all the other girls had. But what was more important was me being myself. And
yes.
that is what made me win.
Beautiful lesson, because I know within, especially within the world of pageants, these young ladies, they are competing their entire life since they're
Mm-hmm.
little girls. And for you to go in with the faith of God, and I love how you said you kept talking life to yourself. You kept giving yourself life by affirmation after
Mm-hmm.
affirmation after affirmation that I am beautiful, I am worthy, I am enough, you know. that is just a beautiful testimony for people not to
No.
give up, to keep
Mm-hmm.
going, and to get that negative chatter out of your head that so often we're programmed to see, the less
Mm-hmm.
than aspect of the self. But, you put God
Always.
first and you are able to be an example of, not giving up,
Of
stay in
course,
the
I have little
light.
girls.
Yes, yes. You tell your daughters, yes, see, mommy
Yep.
did win.
And she was so proud. And
Oh, good. Now, you're also a CEO business owner of Bella Beauty Lounge
yeah.
Incorporated. Now, what inspired you to start this
Well,
company?
growing up, of course I was always into fashion, but I did like I started working like in my teens. I was working at a clothing
Hmm.
store and I learned a couple of things there. And I always used to say I want to own my own. And when the opportunity came, I took it. I don't know.
Mm,
After I won the pageant, I just got into a whole different type of confidence. You know, after I got my divorce and I saw I was making it, I was in a much better place and I was much happier. My confidence
yes.
grew. And then I did the pageant, it even grew even greater. And then I'm like, yeah, why not? That's what I want to do. And then so I just went
Mm,
for it. I knew there were risks. With business, there always a risk. But I
yes.
just went and just went for it. And that was because I felt like this is what I wanted. Technically, I actually want a clothing line and I'm working on that.
Mm.
I'm currently working on it.
Now, let me
Yeah.
ask you. Yeah, because I went to your website. Are you designing the clothes that are being featured on Bella Beauty
No.
Lounge?
I those
Okay.
are already their own from a wholesaler, but
Hmm.
for me, I am working on my own clothing line to be featured on Bella. And I do have a fashion show coming up April 24th of next month, and I'm going to have some of my stuff featured in there too. I'm working on it.
Now, what's the name of the fashion show?
It's
April
Bella Beauty
24th.
Lounge. It's the relaunch of Bella Beauty Lounge fashion show. So it's me relaunching Bella Beauty Lounge. I
Beautiful.
had a storefront and I decided to go all, the whole pandemic and everything, and how things went. I decided to
Hmm.
go online, and then I'm looking for because I have other businesses too. And so
Yes.
I'm right now I'm 100% focused on Bella because the other business I'm trying to open is going to like kind of link up with Bella, like sister. Like is I'm
Nice.
excited. So, but yeah, I'm a realtor. I do so much things, and then it's just yeah.
Nice.
So with Bella, with the fashion show, it's just a relaunching. I'm really like really putting in
Mm,
full force because I had to get Bella. I had to take all my old inventory and a revamp Bella, and so now I'm relaunching it. And that would
hmm.
be on my birthday weekend. So that's like a birthday gift for myself.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, let me ask you, with it being a fashion show, will it be online or can we actually come and be a
Oh
part of the
yes, actually
experience?
I have the venue. It's gonna be at a hotel. It's at Newport Beach Hotel Resort. It's in Miami, like Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. And so it's a venue. People are buying tickets already. Of course, I'm limited. So, like I always tell everybody that's buying
Hmm.
tickets, first come, first serve. Because if you don't have a ticket, you're not coming in. And once we're over capacity, that's it.
Because you have a certain capacity because of COVID sanctions, and so only a certain number of people can buy
Mhm.
their tickets to get in. How could I go about if I were interested in going? Where would I
On
go and look
Eventbrite.
to
Eventbrite.
buy the
You go to
tickets?
Eventbrite
An
and you
event.
type in Bella Beauty Lounge fashion show, and they'll pop right up.
Beautiful. You are, woo, Sandra Love, I am so grateful for this interview because I'm learning that there's infinite possibilities waiting out there for you to say yes to
Oh
and step
yeah,
forward
and
into.
for you too.
Um, as I, yes, and honestly, you've inspired me. I'm looking up, what else can I do? Because this fantastic woman that I'm speaking to is telling me about putting her, trusting in her faith in God and saying yes, continue to say yes, the positive mantra affirmations that
Oh
anything
yeah.
is possible.
Oh yeah.
Anything is possible. Now, let me see. You also are a radio personality. You co host the Urban
Yeah, I was a
Gospel
co-host
Shows.
there. That was fun. That was
How was
fun.
that
That was fun.
experience? It was fun.
I was always nervous and I always wanted to do radio. Like me, I'm a person like they used to tell me I'm just like my dad. I always want to do something different. Like I'm always dipping and dabbing in something. And I'm like, um, I think I'll do good in radio. My voice is not that bad, and so
I think you'd have a great
and
voice.
so it was very fun. It was fun. I was around a team that made it easy, and it's like everyone said I was a natural, and so it just opened doors for me and made me get out of my comfort zone. And even though I would get nervous every time we air, but then as time goes by, I loosen up. And so yeah, that was a great experience. I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
doing radio again.
No, you should think about it because I love watching your Instagram posts where you're motivational speaking. It's fantastic. Everyone should have an opportunity to watch you do what you do because I, watched a few of them and I just felt so inspired and uplifted and ready to go
Oh,
take on
thank
the
you.
entire
I
world after
try.
watching your videos. Now, what is your Instagram? How do I find you on
It would
Instagram?
be
What
the
name is it?
real Sandra Love. It's spelled as it's said. The real Sandra Love.
As it sounds. Now, Miss Sandra Love, you are a proud mom of three beautiful girls. How do you manage to keep up with everything that you do, following your dreams, and as well be a mom in this day and age?
Honestly, I really don't know. I don't
Mm,
you know what I had this conversation with one of my friends, and I'm like, women are very powerful. We don't know where we get this energy, but we end up getting things done. It's not easy, because I have to make sure my kids are good, are fed, because once I make it home from work, I have to cook. I still cook for them. So I'm more old school, so I try to cook
mhm,
as often as I can. And and I have to make sure they do their homework, make sure they have everything they need. And then I have to work on several businesses, and then I have to work on myself. It's just so much. And
yeah,
honestly, I think every woman has it in them. And
mm,
I think God built us that way. And I don't know how to answer that question, because I'm still trying to figure out how I do it, because
mm,
it's a lot. And I do sit down when I explain to people what I do. They look at me and they're like, "And you're still breathing? You
mm.
good? You're good?" And you know what? I guess when you really want to make something happen, it's actually true. You do whatever it takes to make it happen.
So true.
You will end up, you will figure it out. you know but I do manage my time the best way I can, though. One thing I understood, that I was bad at this time management. Oh, I was bad.
Hmm.
And I had to learn. So as the years went by, I had to learn time management, because I would sometimes end up neglecting one thing for the other. So
Mm,
that happens a lot. It's either I neglect Bella because I have to work on Sandra Love, or I
hmm.
neglect Sandra Love because I have to work on Bella. And so I had to
Yes.
find out. First, I put my priorities in order. What's important? I do my best to try to spend time with my kids, because there was a point where I was working a lot and I was missing out on things. And I kept saying, you know what? I want to give them the life that I never had. But then
Yes.
I also, but what the life I never had also have to include me being there too.
Mm,
I got to make sure I'm there for them, because I can try to give them the best thing they want, like everything they want, but they're still lost because I am not there.
right. Very true. That's speaking of the angels.
You hear her? I'm just like trying to hope that it doesn't pick up.
That's okay. That was perfect timing. She knew we were speaking about her. Well, look, we're almost finished with our interview. I just want to quote you. I
Mhm.
speak not just to motivate, but to encourage and inspire to bring positivity in the atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
Sandra, do you see yourself writing a book?
I'm actually in the process. Honestly, I was supposed to had my book years ago,
Hmm.
and I procrastinated, and that was something I've struggled with because writing my book is going to affect a lot of people. And
Yes.
and even when I started talking, when I started doing engagements and people would record me and post me, repost me up, I would get a lot of backlash. I remember I got threatened.
Mm,
Someone threatened me because of who my ex is and the
mm,
power he holds. And so I've received a lot of backlash. People, would say that I'm making stuff up, I'm lying, and they were never in my life. And so that used to discourage me a lot. I got discouraged a lot in that process
mm,
of writing that book. And then someone came up to me and said, I went to a conference I was speaking at, and then the lady spoke life into me. And then when she was done, she told me, "Look, you've been holding on that book. You better write that book. I don't care who's gonna get upset, who feelings is gonna get hurt. That book needs to be written."
yes.
And I was like, "What?" And I was like, okay, you know what? I have to write the book. I started,
Mm,
I have the beginning title, I have the beginning, everything is in my laptop as we speak, but I
mm.
could never finish it. And I said, you know what, this year I'm going to have to finish it. I
Mm.
gotta get that done.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to reading your book because just hearing your life story right now, you can see, I've got chills going up my spine.
I want to actually have a movie out. I really want to make a
There you
movie.
go. Yes. I mean, honestly, because as you speak, and which I love it because I'm a visualizer. So when people speak, I see exactly what they're saying. It's like watching a movie in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
And your movie is brilliant.
Thank
People
you.
need to know your story. Um, Now, if you could collaborate with anyone in the world, who would you choose?
Anyone in the world?
Anyone at all.
Ah, it's so much. But there's this one person that I used to always try to use my law of attraction, energy when thing, when you think and say, who do you want to meet? I
Hmm.
really want to I want to sit in the room with Oprah.
Oh,
I
yes.
don't know. It's just knowing that when you sit in that room, you just feel like you done arrived, and you wanna, you wanna, I wanna pick her brains. I just wanna
Oh,
just pick her brains. Yeah. I want to pick her
yeah.
brains. She's gone through a lot.
Yes, she
She
has.
has, and so I literally want to pick her brain. Like when I'm
Mm,
in front of people, I don't just like I don't like doing too much talking. I
hmm.
like to hear what's in you. Because I
Yes.
really, especially if you're someone that has succeeded in an area that I'm interested in succeeding in the future. Oh yeah, I want to hear you
Mm,
talk. I want to pick
oh,
your brain. I want to get to know her, and on a personal level, I want to know how, like what, when, how,
mm,
like even though she tells
yes.
her story, like in the media and people know her story, but I just want to. It's different when you're sitting right in front of the person and you're having a
Mm,
conversation, an intimate, personal conversation with, and I just
mm,
feel like that right there would be a blessing. Like
mm.
I really want to get to know Oprah, but any place I would love to. There's a lot of people though. There's
That
artists
inspire
that's
you.
inspired me. There's a lot of people.
Mm.
There's this lady well I really love TD Jakes.
Oh,
I
yes.
really want to go to the Potter House one day and sit in the front row. I just
I and and knowing you, Sandra, yes, you will be there.
I just love the way he teaches and he speaks. I just be on my phone early in the morning because every morning this is my routine, like literally.
Hmm.
Like I find something motivate, like some motivational encouragement on YouTube, and I play it while I take a shower, while I'm putting my makeup, and I'm listening to affirmations or someone who's actually speaking, or I listen to the word. Like I put that in me in the morning, like, and
Yes,
I always encourage someone to do that. Like when you wake up and in do have your really like regular daily routine, like listen to something inspirational, like get you ready for the day.
yes,
And so that's what I do, and that's what keeps me. And so TD Jakes is someone I always listen to in the morning. If I miss the
yeah.
message, like I would literally go back. Okay, the Sunday before or whatever message he has, I would literally sit down and listen to, like, I would not sit down, but while I'm getting ready, I would be listening to him speak. There's so much wisdom coming
Mm,
out of him, and his wife, oh my God. And so I just like listening to them. And but Oprah, definitely anybody in the world, I would literally go crazy
yes.
if I'm in front of Oprah.
Well, Sandra, I have to give you this. I had an opportunity to hear and go see Oprah live right before the pandemic
Oh, I'm
hit.
jealous.
And no, I was gifted. It was magic. I was gifted these tickets out of the blue. I didn't wasn't looking for it. I always dreamed of being in Oprah's presence. And I just want you to know
Oh man.
that you have the same power and ability to fill a stadium
Oh yeah.
and inspire people in the same light that Oprah does, because she told her truth.
Oh wow.
And we were all in tears as she just continued to be so transparent and honest. And within that, we were all drawn to her and fell deeper in love with her. And I just want to let you know that I have a feeling that you will come in contact with Miss Oprah Winfrey,
Girl.
because who you are is a reflection of what she puts out into the world as well.
Wow, you making me emotional. Stop it.
No, I'm being honest. I
Ooh.
haven't said that to anybody else. Now, Miss Love, one last question.
Uh-huh.
Do you believe that heaven on earth is possible?
I believe that's what God intended it to be. Heaven to be on
Mm,
earth. He doesn't want us to suffer like right now. He wants us to live. That's the whole purpose. That's I think that's what makes him happy. Of course,
mm,
I do believe in heaven on earth. And it's up to us to create that. We have the power. He gave us the ability. He's there with us. So why not? And that's what I could have never
mm,
understood, why people said, well, I can't wait to get to heaven to be happy. Why
mm.
not be happy now? God wants you to be
Yeah.
happy now. Like, I could never understand it. He wants heaven is on earth, and we have to choose whether we want that. And
Yes.
I believe it. Yeah, heaven on earth.
Oh, oh, wow. This has been a true blessing. I mean, honestly, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, Miss Sandra Love,
Uh-huh.
for sharing your story. And because you are truly, truly a gift to the world.
Oh, thank you so much. I truly appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak my story and share with you and everyone else. I am honored.
Uh, well, thank you for joining us for another episode at Heaven on Earth podcast. I'm Mari Raiin, sending you all love and light.